brand new day, and it is chilly, but look outside. See what I'm seeing. Here on North Main Street in Barrie, Vermont. And if you look carefully, you can see that things are actually softening up out there. The road actually looks a little damp. not the frozen tundra surface that we have had over the last week or so. I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to see things warming up. We're looking at 25 degrees later today with clouds. Tonight 12. Cloudy skies. Tomorrow, cloudy and 23. Friday, sun and clouds both in the mix, and 27. And Saturday, we are right back to the Arctic air with clouds and about 17 degrees. That's just the start of that snap that is coming for the weekend. Super Bowl Sunday, 5 degrees for the daytime high. Happy birthday today to Bessie Sandberg, Val Smith, James Keel, Kathy Peliquin, great lady, Paul Simino, Ashley Ruda, Ernie Ferrara. Wow, Ernie, happy birthday. Jen Parker and Mitch Moraski. Super guy. Haven't seen him in a long time. Oscar De La Hoya on the list today, 53 years old. What a stylish dresser that guy is, too. Alice Cooper, 78. We got National Homemade Soup Day, National Sweater Day, and what a combination. To sip on some soup while you're wearing your favorite sweater. 4 days to go before the Super Bowl, 10 days before Valentine's Day. Very good morning. It is Wednesday, February 4th. The Legislative Open House is tonight at 5 p.m. at the Capitol Plaza in Montpelier. We invite you to come on out to that. It is going to be amazing. 5 o'clock. It goes till 7. It's going to be a great chance to meet with legislators and chat with them about some of your concerns, especially if you're a small business. This is a great time to chat with them. Deb Phillips is with us on the line every single Wednesday. Not only does the world come out, but Deb joins us on the air to tell us what to expect inside the pages. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, JD. So we have quite a bit in this week's world. First of all, for Valentine's Day, we have a number of local businesses that are offering Valentine's gifts that would be just wonderful, and especially shopping local is really important. It's beyond the flowers and chocolate. I mean, those are always really great. But even like kids' clothes that are from Zutanos that has, they have Valentine's sweatshirts and sweaters and pajamas, just some different things that are offered this year. We also have the Farmers Night schedule for February, March, and April. Those are the at the State House on Wednesdays at 7:30. These are free and open to the public, and there's lots of good stuff coming up in the next 2.5 months.
Yeah, and I see tonight it's Stories from the Woods, a curated story hour presented
Oh,
by the Vermont Department of Forest Parks and Recreation. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, something a little different and definitely worthwhile for people, to enjoy. And also we have our usual service directory for, if you're looking for someone that's, to clean the carpets or, to fix your car or whatever. We have, lots in the service directory. And I think that's the bulk of it right now.
And some great reads in there too, Deb. I mean, listen, if you got 5 minutes, that's just not going to be enough. The world is something that usually it lands on the front seat of my truck. It makes its way to the dashboard, then the couch, then back to the truck, and I enjoy it through the whole week.
Great. No, that's what we hope for. Definitely.
Now, Freezing Fun for Families, the Winter Co-ed Softball Tournament, the oldest and largest fundraiser that's been going on here in Central Vermont. That's coming up the end of February. Are you guys going to be putting anything in there in the
Oh,
world about that?
definitely. Yep. Every year we do like a page, full page for Freezing Fun, and then we get sponsors to pay for the page.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, we definitely have all these years have promoted Freezing Fun because it is such a wonderful program and it does so much for people in need.
Yeah. If you want to be involved with that, if you want to attach your brand to it, get in touch with the world, 479-2582. That's simple.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, definitely.
And of course, we got Night to Shine coming up next weekend. There's so much happening that's great in our community, Deb.
Yeah. But I also did want to mention our delivery driver, Jim Elliott, is in the hospital. We're hoping, lots of prayers and that he gets better really soon.
All right. You can grab it on newsstands everywhere, too. So
Yes. Oh, yeah. They're out there delivering right now.
good stuff, Deb. Thank you ever so much. Big hello to Gary, and our community loves you guys so much.
Thank you, JD.
Yeah, Deb Phillips right there from the world every single Wednesday. She joins up with us. Boy, the community calendar, speaking of it, it's pretty packed. Again, that Welcome Back Legislators Reception is tonight at the Governor's Ballroom from 5 to 7. We've got Wellness Wednesday at the WellSpace building right here in Barrie. 23 Summer Street started a few years ago. It has just exploded in popularity. It is free, a free community service for everyone in Central Vermont from Washington County Mental Health. So don't miss the next one. It's tonight, this afternoon, 4:30. Treat yourself to a little bit of peace. Get out and enjoy it. And leave your wallet at home. You get a massage. You get some myofacial body release, some tea, some yoga, table massage, chair massage. They're even doing Reiki. 4:30 this afternoon. One of the many items in our community calendar. So on Wednesdays, we shift gears. And if you're new to Aired Out, if you're new to what we do here, first of all, welcome. Secondly, what to expect on Wednesdays. And I want to just touch on this just a little bit here. I have chatted with people recently who say to me, I wish there was some more positivity going on in our communities. I wish that there was some better messaging on social media. What we're seeing, what we're hearing, yeah, we've all felt those effects. And as a matter of fact, I've had an individual that reached out yesterday and would like to come on the air and talk about bullying in schools in general. And I wanted to make sure that this individual was well aware that on Wednesdays we often take a pretty good deep dive into bullying and the work that Sweethearts and Heroes is doing to combat that. And it's as I've said to Tom Murphy and the rest of the team at Sweethearts and Heroes, that's a tall order, man. I mean, that is a systemic problem that is everywhere. It's all across our nation. And we're not going to be able to fix bullying overnight. And bullying is It's very different now than it was when I was a kid. Shows itself in so many different ways. Computers, social media, texting. The list goes on. It's complicated, and it's something that I don't know. I just praise the efforts of Sweethearts and Heroes for attempting to continually not give up on this subject and to make students better. Better students and better people going forward in their lives. This morning, on the line with us is our Wednesday morning Sweethearts and Heroes special guest, Melissa Fisher, who's the Dean of Students at Georgia Elementary School. Good morning, Melissa. I'm so happy to have you on.
Good morning, JD. I'm so happy to be here.
What is the what was the beginning for Georgia Elementary School to get connected with Tom Murphy and Rick and the rest of the team at Sweethearts and Heroes? How did this all start?
Yeah, so I was trying to think back of the first time I had Tom as a presenter. It was at the very beginning of his program, even before Rick joined him. And now he has an extensive crew, which is amazing. Um, so we got connected with Tom because one of our teachers knew him outside of school, knew him personally. And I reached out to him, asked if he could present to our school. At the time, I was serving as the middle school counselor here at Georgia. And one of the topics I covered at that time with students, of course, was how to handle if you were being bullied or you saw bullying happening. So, yeah, I would say, gosh, I don't know when Tom first got started, but it was that many years ago. It's been a long time.
Yeah. You know, as I was just kind of alluding to, bullying is something that can hide itself very, very well these days. You're well aware of that, I'm sure.
Yes.
This is something that, you know, I wonder, as a dean of students, what percentage of a typical day you think you might be dealing just with bullying alone?
Yeah. I would say it's based on kids that come in and report it to us. It's probably, it can be like a 1/4% of the day, I would say. And then depending on the situation, it involves, talking to the various students involved. So sometimes a situation can take up most of my day in talking with a student who reported it, addressing the student who they say are being bullied, making sure our staff is informed so they're keeping their eyes and ears open. Um, because I believe, having our students reporting to a trusted adult is part of the message because often they are seeing it, hearing it, and not always the adult because it might happen like on the playground, it might happen in the hallway. Um, so, yeah, I would say at least a 1/4% of the day.
Yeah, and on the school bus and after school and
Yeah,
before school and at the cafeteria and the list goes on.
right.
You know, and one of the things that I've talked with the entire team at Sweethearts and Heroes about is just having a real solid understanding of what bullying is because there's gray area. You can be goofing around and
Yeah,
just having fun, poking fun at someone, but there's such a thin line that can be crossed, and often you talk about students that come to you, Melissa. What about all the students that don't because of they're afraid that they could get tangled up in this and it could become something that they're regretting that they ever said anything to a teacher or an administrator.
Right. Yeah, that's a common thing that I hear even when I was a school counselor that, often in particular, middle school kids and even upper elementary, you'll hear them say, snitches get stitches. This is the message that they send to each other, or that they worry reporting it um, will then make it worse. And to me, that's a teachable moment to that student, because often I will then ask them, so when you didn't tell a trusted adult, did it get better? And they're like, no, it kept happening. Um, so when our school counselors go into the classroom and talk to students about bullying, that's part of the message, that in order for us to help you, we have to know about it. And so, and as adults, we continue to give that message. What I love about Sweethearts and Heroes is now they are training our upper middle school students to give that same message. And often, students take that for word. Like if I've got a fellow student telling me that I should report it, that means so much to them versus just the adult saying it. Um, so I'm just so appreciative of being involved with this program and just seeing the numerous benefits all the way around.
The STEP program is the acronym with Sweethearts and Heroes for Student Teacher Empathy Program. And how about Loudon Granger? Let's tip our hat to that fella.
Yeah, yeah. So, and my history with Loudon is when I first started here, I started here at GEMS in 2000. And Loudon was a student. So I've known Loudon for a really long time. And to now see him as a grown adult and working with Tom and Rick and with Sweethearts and Heroes, and in this role of really giving back to his community, his school community, um, is amazing. I just love working with him.
Yeah, and Josiah too.
Yes.
Over the last year,
Yes.
he's been part of the Brave program through Sweethearts and Heroes at your school.
Yeah. So after that first time that Tom came to our school to do an assembly, he reached out again and shared how Handy Chevrolet was offering to cover the expenses for Tom to do work in Franklin County. And Tom reached out to me to say, hey, we'd like to come back to GEMS. What do you think? And ever since then, Handy Chevrolet has offered that to our school. And so I would say the last 4 years that Tom has been here, it's all because of Handy Chevrolet. And we are so appreciative of that. So we've had Tom and Rick come back and do another assembly and run circles with our elementary and middle school students. And then we had Pat Fish from Sweethearts and Heroes come the next year, again, doing more circle work with our students. And then last year, as you mentioned, Josiah worked with a group of 7th and 8th graders and through the Brave program. And so it put these 7th and 8th graders in a leadership role where they presented to all of our 2nd grade students about what to do if they saw bullying happening. And then this year, those students that were in the program last year as 7th graders, now they're in 8th grade and they are working with Loudon doing the STEP program. So
yeah, it's building itself, and
yeah.
it's. I mean, this is this isn't something that Tom was able to sit down and scratch out this whole plan on a napkin years ago. He had this is something that has resulted in just something that has built itself, like I said,
Yeah.
and it's just naturally morphed into different levels to make sure that all ages are connected across all the grade levels.
Yes, and they even do training for teachers on how to run circles. And
Mm,
we had a group of our teachers a couple summers ago attend that training with Tom. And so, yeah, he has just expanded it to cover, all ages, and beyond school systems too. Like it's great. And it's definitely benefited our school community. Um, it's not just about what to do in situations if you see bullying happening, but I think it's really working with students too about how to, accept each other's differences,
yeah.
how to be tolerant, how to be empathetic. There's just so many good things that come from this program.
To see these little kids with their masks on and their capes and becoming superheroes
Yeah.
is and just having empathy and recognizing when someone else may or may be having an off day or may be the target of some repeated behavior from others, and stepping in and getting involved instead of turning around, walking away, and you know minding your own business, which so many of us have been brought up that way. And
Hmm.
it's the opposite with Sweethearts and Heroes. You guys are tackling stuff head on, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too that, what I've seen is sometimes kids are stepping in when it might not be bullying, it might not be something that's been repeated, but
Yeah,
it's that level of teasing that's hurtful. And, kids are recognizing that and stepping in before it becomes something bigger. Um, because when we try to help the kids to understand that when we don't step in, take action, be that hero for someone, then we're giving another message that it's okay that this is happening around me in our school and in our community. And that's not what we want students to feel.
yeah. I remember being a student, going to the assemblies and mentally just kind of punching out after a few minutes.
Hmm.
These guys embrace the crowd. They embrace everyone. They pull them in and have a limited amount of time to get a very important message put out there. But I think there's a level of hope that the school won't just feature Sweethearts and Heroes as kind of a one and done assembly, but rather allow them the opportunity to really get some roots into the school and make some real profound difference.
Yes. Yeah. What I love about their assembly is that they're not just talking about what this looks like, they're allowing audience members to participate, which is great. And then it allows for us to, as the adults, and as our student leaders, to kind of continue that. It's providing kids with a toolbox. So if I see this happening, I know what my options are, what I can do. It might be that I confront that bully. I might feel brave enough to do that. But if I'm not quite there yet, I know another way that I can step in and be a hero. I can be a buddy. I can pull them away from the situation. Um, I can take action by telling an adult. So it's just great that they give them a variety of tools that they can use.
Yeah. What about Melissa Fisher, the Dean of Students at Georgia Elementary School, is my guest this morning. Sweethearts and Heroes Day every Wednesday here on Aired Out. What about Circle? This takes things to a whole different level. And this is a method that has, frankly, been around since the caveman, um,
Mhm.
where we sit in a circle in a closed cell environment, if you will, where no matter if there's 5 or 6 of us or 25 or 30 of us, we're in a circle. We all see each other.
Mhm.
And the question or the comment is posed at the beginning, and each person going around that circle has an opportunity to speak on that, um, expand on that, or maybe just not speak, but rather listen to others. And maybe the subject or whatever it is may be too um, sensitive to them.
Mhm.
Maybe they're not willing to be so vulnerable, but at least they're still part of that circle and they're able to hear. And the engagement is, it is what it is. You're kind of forced to be engaged, even if it's just with your ears.
Yeah. Yeah. So in our building, we start our day in morning meeting. That's what we call it in the elementary. And in the middle school, they start in advisory. And the kids start by sitting in a circle. And the work, that Tom and Rick and Pat and Josiah have done around circles, um, is just showing the power of it. There's so many things that kids learn when they're sitting in that circle. One, we're practicing our social skills, listening, taking turns. But by facing each other in the circle, we're all signifying that every single one of us sitting together, looking at each other, matter. We are all important. Um, and yes, we practice talking about who we are as people, getting to know each other. So it's really building this sense of community, because by building that, you're also building some empathy for each other. And if you have that empathy, you're less likely to bully or be mean to that person if you've gotten to know them on that personal level. I think that's the greatest thing about circles. And I've been always amazed when they come in and they run these circles with our students, how quickly they become comfortable in sharing. And there's also fun in the circle too. They always do a quick game. Um, but yeah, it's just, there's a lot of power to the circle.
All of these guys, Loudon, Pat Fish, Josiah, everything that they bring is so profound. It's so amazing. And
Yeah,
I mean, Tom's amazing, but
yeah,
all of these people, and Rick, I mean, they just, what they bring into a circle and how they get the conversation going is unbelievable. And sometimes
hmm,
a lot of unexpected things are said. Some emotion can evoke itself um, without it being expected.
yeah, yeah. No, I've seen numerous times where, kids feel that sense of safety and trust in which they can answer a question that may feel heavy, um, but they, but they, I don't know. It's just the power of the circle. I'm just always amazed.
I think that it's the level of transparency where we're all on the same page, and when one person is speaking, the rest of us are listening. And
Yeah,
whether no matter how you feel about that person that's speaking, at the very least, at least you'll have some form of perspective. If you are not, uh, you know, particularly best friends with that other student sitting across, at least you'll have an understanding from their vulnerability of speaking in front of everyone at the same time. When you cross them in the hallway, when you pass them in the hallway,
right.
you have that empathy. And it's like I've said to Tom before, it's almost impossible to not have it. It's kind of, I hate to use the word forced, but it's forced empathy, man. I mean, it's just
Hmm.
it's what it is.
Yeah. And I think when kids are vulnerable in that moment and they're hearing someone else speak, I think there's also moments where they recognize, oh wait, I'm not alone in feeling this way. And it's okay that I feel this way, and it's okay for me to talk about it. Um, and so, yeah,
So,
there's just,
so you have students right now that are in their second year that
yeah.
have been doing this. What's happened to their level of confidence, Melissa?
Yeah, it's been amazing, just amazing to watch the growth. Um, last year as seventh graders, they were working with some eighth graders. They seemed a little intimidated, um, but still very excited. And once they were in front of students, it's like this whole new level of confidence comes out. And so this year, as eighth graders, they're with STEP, they're actually working with Loudon to create their lesson or presentation, and they're working in pairs. And again, Loudon is really working with them about, some positives of what you can do when you're presenting, how to get that message across. They're practicing it. Um, and they're just, I don't know, it's just, you can see how how much more confident they are because it's the same message. They're giving it to a different group of kids, but because they've had that year of experience, they're like, yeah, bring it on. I can do this. They're so excited. We're so looking forward to them. They're going to present in March to all of our first graders, and you can just see their excitement and momentum building. It's great.
The Kennedy Columbus STEP program is just popping, and I'm telling you, anyone who's watching, listening right now, who is not yet familiar with it, be warned. This is something that is going to be sweeping not just New York State, but it's going to be hitting the whole region. This is an incredible program. If Sweethearts and Heroes is not yet in your school, um, frankly, that's a shame.
Mhm.
What do you say, Melissa, to schools who have not yet at least been on sweetheartsandheroes.com?
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about it. I would highly recommend because I have just seen one, the benefit to our school community. I've seen the benefit to our younger and older students. The younger students just get so excited when they have what they would call the big kids come down and talk to them. Their eyes are glued to them. They are totally listening to what they're saying. They love being able to do some role playing, some practicing with the older students, and then to see these older students take on this role, and to see how much joy it brings to them. Um, you know, I just, I can't say, like, I just encourage people to bring it to your school so you can see it for yourself. Um, I've, I can't tell you how many times I've had teachers just be so thankful. I've had parents of these students who are in this leadership role talk about how their kids are loving it. Um, yeah, there's just so many benefits. And even if you just start, I mean, I would say at least start with having Rick and Tom do an assembly for your school. That assembly alone um, is amazing.
Yeah. And a shout out again to Handy Chevrolet and all of the North Country Chevy dealers for getting behind Sweethearts and Heroes. Their mission, they're literally, and I mean it, and I don't at least I try not to say this too often, but they're literally kind of like saving the world here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's just, we have been blessed to have them support our school and our community in that way, and allowing for this opportunity for Sweethearts and Heroes to be here and to be involved in these various programs, because I know these students too, that once they leave Georgia, our kids go to various high schools. And so I just know that, they're going off to high school and can be, be a leader there. Right. And I encourage those students to do that because they are that well prepared. And the more we can get that message out, the greater we will be, for sure.
Yeah. Melissa Fisher, the Dean of Students at Georgia Elementary School, with us on the line this morning on our Wednesday edition of Aired Out with Sweethearts and Heroes. Question here that has just come in. Do you feel going back to a slightly older way of dealing with behavior and bullying issues may be warranted? An example, a student acts out and ends up sitting in the principal's office for the rest of the day, waiting to find out their consequences, and the parents come and discuss the matter as well. Not suggesting that that may or may not have happened with me when I was in elementary school, but what say you about that?
Yeah, I think the way we approach it here is there are many teachable moments. And I think when we have a situation come up, it's a teachable moment. It's helping that student to understand like what's behind it, what's going on. And oftentimes, if I just said, here's the consequence for you, you're going to sit in this office for the rest of the day. Um, it's not, again, um, preparing them um, for what happens beyond that day, right? So it's really about um, trying to understand how it impacted the other student.
Right.
Because if roles were reversed, they probably wouldn't feel good if someone was treating them in that way. That is the reality. Um, we add in social media and cell phones, and, we see a rise in bullying happening there. And it's because they don't see that person's face. They don't see how it impacts them. Um, and so our job is to help them to understand why this is not a way that we want to treat each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well said. Well said. Listen, I've got, as I started this morning's program, I've got a lady that just reached out yesterday who has a bullying problem that's rather serious with her child at one of our local schools, that has not incorporated Sweethearts and Heroes yet anyway. And there's a great deal of despair and loss of hope here. The feeling of not being heard, not being understood, nothing productive coming out of this, no progress being made. And this individual has really, I think of Rick's message of hope, but it's kind of lost here. And she's frankly desperate to the point where, and we've heard plenty parents say, I don't know what else to do. I guess I'm going to have to pull my kid out and homeschool. And this individual is going to be possibly sharing a microphone with me this coming Tuesday. What would you say to this parent?
I would certainly encourage them to reach out to who they feel is their trusted adult in the school building, right? And to have a conversation. Um, and maybe have your child there too to just talk about the impact of it. Um, and I would hope that from there they could work to make a plan moving forward. Like how, what can we do? What can they do as a school community to help their child, right? Because, you know, every student, the message I give students at the beginning of the year, because I go around and I talk about on the middle school end, and it happens with somebody else on the elementary end, but just about what bullying and harassment is, and that everyone who walks into our building deserves to feel respected, to feel safe. And it's not to say that in our building, sometimes it goes unnoticed in the sense of it doesn't get reported to us. And again, that's continued work on our part to make students feel like we want you to feel you can tell some adult in this building what's going on so we can help you, because we wouldn't want it to continue. So yeah, I guess I would encourage that parent to meet with who they feel is that trusted adult in their school building. I hope that they have one. Yeah.
And to contact, maybe Tom or someone at Sweethearts and Heroes, at least to have a conversation and see if they can get them into this local school right here in Central Vermont. And there's a few of them. And we've heard, well, this school has a bullying problem that's worse than that one, and we've all heard that. Bullying's everywhere.
Yeah.
But man, it's a disease, and if you can aggressively work at it, consistency is key. I think having the tools, like you said, you've said the word tools several times. Having the knowledge and the tools and the skill to combat it every single day is the way to stay ahead of it.
Yeah. And it's and then once you have, Tom and Rick, etc., in your building, then it's the work doesn't stop, right?
Yeah.
It's about the adults in the building continuing to spread that message of, what to do
Sure.
if you see this happening. And, if a teacher notices something in their classroom, like having a circle with your students and having a conversation about, how should we be treating each other in our classroom community?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great stuff. Melissa, thank you ever so much for coming on the air with us. Tom sings your praises. So does Loudon. How was Loudon as a student? Was he just air it out, just let it go?
Right? No. I can't say Loudon ever got sent to my office. No, he was a good kid. He was
Yeah.
a good kid. And I know his parents too. They work for our his father worked for our school district for many years. His mom continues to. So his family has deep connections
Yeah.
to Georgia. Yeah. So
Good people.
but it's like I said, it's great to see him in this adult role. I always like to see when our students come back. I have many now that are parents that have students in the building. So that's how long I've been here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Dean of Students at Georgia Elementary School, Melissa Fisher, thank you ever so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, JD.
Great chatting with you, and I hope to meet you someday. I love conversations like this. And this is what it's about right here. Listen, and I want to say this: if you have If you have a feel-good story that you would like to share with the Aired Out audience, get it to me for the Daily Dose of Feel Good. If there's something that's either funny or happy or light, just DM me on Facebook, and I will share it on the air as we travel through the rest of the week. I am going to be taking tomorrow morning off. As some of you know, I've got some upcoming surgery, and we got all the medical pre-op stuff that's got to go with it, and it's kind of tapping into my schedule a little bit. So I'll be off tomorrow morning, and then back Friday morning. Forward to it. We're going to have a whole heck of a lot of fun and laughs as we head into a very cold weekend. In the meantime, look at this guy right there. Tom Murphy, truly loving what he's doing, making a difference in the lives of so many kids with Sweethearts and Heroes. Thanks to Melissa Fisher, the Dean of Students at Georgia Elementary School, for being our guest this morning, and thanks to the entire team at Sweethearts and Heroes as we bring them on every single Wednesday right here on the Aired Out Podcast.